Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. I'm Bob Matthews. This is your one-stop shop for everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. Glad you're with us. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of our coverage. All right, we are starting with minicamp day 2. Lots of stuff going on, as always. Bobby Wagner, by the way, we found out today, wasn't at practice yesterday. That was an excused absence, just so you know. He was expected to be back today. Little bit of news going on. Wide receiver Noah Brown on the field during 7-on-7 drills. Apparently came down a little funny. He stayed down on the ground for a couple of beats and then walked off the field. I wouldn't read too much into it unless, we find out in the next couple of days it's a major injury. Probably nothing serious. I'm sure he'll be held out for the rest of minicamp just as a precaution. As far as guys that are looking good in there, Dan Quinn talking to reporters right before practice today, saying that he's been really impressed with how Laramie Tunstall has showed up, the shape he's in, and the work he's been doing. He is very, very pleased with that. He also mentioned a couple of guys that we have been talking about here in the offseason that are going to need to really step up this year. One of those guys being Ben Stennett, the tight end. He says that Stennett has looked really, really good so far in the entire offseason program, particularly here in minicamp. So he says that, and again, when you have a coach single a guy out like that, that's when you know that they are really pleased with somebody. They're pleased with the way Stennett has been performing. He is a big, big key to this year's team because, again, Zach Ertz had a great season last year. We expect big things out of him this year, but Zach Ertz is in his mid-30s. You just don't know. In the back of your mind, you're wondering, how durable can this guy be? Can he still be that number one tight end? And there's no reason to expect that he won't be, but again, you need more than one guy. You need more than one guy at every position. So Stennett's development, and he's a guy that they want to develop, that they've wanted for him to develop. The fact that Quinn has been positive about him is a good sign. He's also been really positive about linebacker Jordan McGee. If you don't remember, McGee was hurt in training camp last year, so never got on the field. But he's a player that this coaching staff really, really likes. So if he is able to play, if he is able to develop and then play well this year, that's going to be a huge boost to the linebacker room. Because remember, Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu got most of the work there. You remember there were tons of times when, probably out of necessity, they played with only two linebackers. Used that Buffalo nickel formation. I know we're tired of hearing that term, but if Jordan McGee keeps developing the way he apparently has been this offseason and continues it into the regular season, that's going to be a real lift for the defense. So keep an eye on him as well. There was a little bit of news today, and that is that special team standout safety Jeremy Reeves got a contract extension. He got a 1-year extension, so that'll keep him here in the DMV at least through 2026 next year. Now, those of you who follow along closely know that Reeves is a safety. He has been an all-pro special teamer, standout on special teams ever since he got here. And this is a guy that goes back. He's entering his 8th year. I mean, this guy goes all the way back to the Jay Gruden regime. Don't have any of the details about the contract, but it's a really, really, it's a good deal, and it's one you really like to see. Reeves works his ass off. He has been a favorite of 3 straight coaching regimes now, and he's just one of those guys who has the philosophy and the mentality that he's not going home. He is not getting cut. He's here, and he is staying here. Does just about everything you ask for. And again, not just on special teams, but they expect him to be part of the defensive rotation this year in the backfield as well. And, again, with Jeremy Chin leaving, they're going to need him. So good to see that Reeves got that extension, that the club was able to get it done. As for, I know you are all wondering about it, but as for Terry McLaurin, well, no deal just yet. Again, I really think it's coming. There is no reason to think that it's not. It hasn't happened yet. But again, it's one of those things that it's probably going to happen here after OTAs. Again, you know, try not to look at the headlines that you're seeing out there. Remember, this is clickbait season. I know I saw one that stood out to me. Won't mention the reporter, won't mention the website or anything, but it said contract dispute between Commanders, NFL All-Pro wide receiver takes another ugly turn. Well, there is no other ugly turn. It hasn't taken an ugly turn at all yet. Is he frustrated that he hasn't gotten an extension? Yeah, I'm sure Terry is, but there's no animosity here between Terry and the front office. There is absolutely no one who is plugged in to the scene there is saying that McLaurin wants a trade. Then nobody that is plugged into the scene is saying he is unhappy with the way he's being treated by the front office. And if you don't believe me, just kind of take a look at everything that you can read out there and kind of compare it to the Trent Williams situation. Back at the beginning, at the end of the Bruce Allen and the beginning of the Ron Rivera era. There is absolutely nothing out there, no evidence, no credible evidence out there that suggests it's anywhere close to that. I think the two sides are working on an agreement right now. I think they're going to get one. And it just makes sense that if Terry wants an extension, which he does, why should he show up for minicamp? He has banked enough goodwill that he doesn't have to be here. And again, you have a freak accident happen, you blow out an Achilles, you mess up a knee, something like that. He's got no guaranteed money after this year. So until he gets that extension, you're not going to see Terry McLaurin on the practice field. Not that you need to, because he has done everything that has been asked of him for the last, whatever it is, 8 years or so. And I'm not worried about it at all. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I really don't. I'll be shocked if it is. And I expect it to get done here sometime before training camp starts. All right, finally, viewer mail, something we like to do occasionally. Want to thank everybody that has subscribed here in the last few weeks. This channel is just growing by leaps and bounds, and we want to keep it that way. Shout out to Norman Davis. Sorry about the phone there. Shout out to Norman Davis, who commented on one of the videos earlier saying, I'm really excited to see the development of last year's rookies. I think there's some real talent out there that can make some big impacts this season. Yeah, exactly. We are simpatico on that one. And that as we were mentioning, Ben Stennett, one of those guys there that we think is going to be they are expecting to take the big jump this year. Mike Sandra still is another one, and both of them have been talked about very, very favorably by Dan Quinn this offseason. So again, Norman, thank you very much for that. Again, hit the like and subscribe button. Let us help us grow this channel so that we can keep this Commanders coverage coming for you all season long. We'll wrap up minicamp tomorrow. Again, thanks for joining us. Remember, like the wise man once said, if you're on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.